This video was sponsored by Nerf. Ha! Psych! If only. It's not. I've always wanted a real gun. Not to shoot people, but just to hang it on my wall or something. I don't know, it just looks cool. So I was thinking, since my parents won't let me have a real gun, why don't I just make my own? And what's a better way than using a Nerf gun? And I know this doesn't really have anything to do with Photoshop. Or does it? So here's what I'm gonna do. First, I'm gonna give my Nerf gun a very cool grungy green paint job, and then I'll take a picture with it and use Photoshop to make me look badass. For absolutely no reason at all. So let's just begin right away. I'm painting my Nerf lungs. What? The whole bloody place is on fire! I told them this was a bad idea. Strike and my classic Retaliator. I'm gonna paint them both in the same style, black, silver and green. I started by taking the two guns apart. That way it was easier to paint the pieces all over without having to worry about small edges and holes. I carefully removed all the screws and insides of the guns and put them on the desk in an order I could remember because, well, we still wanted to fire when it's finished. Then I had to use sandpaper to roughen up the main areas of the parts. This way I didn't have to use any sort of primer for the paint. Once all the pieces were sanded, I put them down on a piece of wood and spray painted the first coat of silver spray paint. Now you might wonder, why would I first paint them all silver when you're gonna add another coat of black right after? Well, my friend, you'll see that soon enough. The first silver coat dried up quite fast, so I didn't have to wait long for the black paint. I didn't paint all of the parts black since some of them needed to remain silver. That went all quite well, but the green color was still yet to be added. That means I had to start masking. I used a kind of tape to cover the areas that needed to stay black. To my own surprise, this is the most time-consuming part of painting Nerf guns the way I do it. Then the final coat was applied, the green paint. I let it dry up for a while and then started peeling off the tape. And let me tell you, that was the most satisfying thing of the entire process. I was very happy with the result. All the edges were quite clean. Finally, I could put it back together, and that's really the best part of painting Nerf guns, just seeing how the modified loose pieces come together to create a brand new looking gun. Then it was time to add some simple weathering to it. Now here is why I used a silver coat first. I used sandpaper to add some scratches and rough edges on the gun. And because the coat below the black and green is silver, this looks kinda like actual painted metal. I very much prefer this technique over painting it by hand, because since you're actually damaging the rifle with sandpaper, it obviously looks real too. For some final touches, I used silver paint to manually add detail. And after that I used a rough brush with some brownish paint to give it a dirty, dusty, weathered look. And that did it for me. I'm sure there are other better ways to do this, but for me this works just fine, and it still fires, of course. Now I could finally take a picture with my brand new sniper rifle. So I grabbed my camera, put on my angry face, and took a picture. Why am I putting this online for the entire world to see? Please don't bully me. So anyway, these are the pictures I ended up with. So for my first test, I grabbed this image. So first I cut myself out with the pen tool, obviously, and that took, as always, way too long. Then after that I used Liquify to kinda tweak the shape of me, because in order to look badass, I need to be a bit bigger, because, well, I have pretty skinny legs and stuff, so yeah. Next I started covering up some skin areas like my ankles and wrists because, well, it's the apocalypse, hello? And now that I think of it, that is incredibly stupid because I'm literally wearing fingerless gloves. Anyway, now I started changing the colors of basically everything because this looks like absolute trash. First I made the green of the gun similar to the green of my jacket because those kinda clashed in my opinion. Then I made the shoes darker and also a bit greenish because I don't have shoes anywhere near that color. And I also desaturated some of the blacks because they had a bit too much blue in it. And then, guess what? My pants. They also had to be recolored. I fixed the tiny final little color things and moved on to the shadow. I made sure to start with an ambient shadow first, which is the touch shadow. That makes sure it looks like it's actually touching the ground. After that I made the actual shadow, but since this is an empty white room without any direct light sources, I made them very soft. Now this is the part where you can start adding stuff for no particular reason. Think of stuff like belts, ropes, gas masks, hoods, hats, extra clothing, gun attachments, holsters, pockets, backpacks, whatever you want. By the way, that was a list based on my post-apocalyptic theme, so, you know, if you wanna add a Ronald McDonald wig, I mean, be my guest, bro. I'm gonna give myself a hood. Hood. Do. So yeah, that went well. This is pathetic. Let's just, how about one of these ammo belts? This actually took me quite a lot of time because quick selection and stuff didn't work at all, so I had to manually mask away the background of this image. The result looked pretty cool though. Then I also wanted some stuff laying on the ground like a magazine and some bullets, so I found images that matched my idea the best, and it sure gives some more life to this whole thing. Then an ammo crate seemed a great idea too, so I added one of those too. I'm 100% sure this crate does not contain the right ammunition for this gun, but, well, who bloody cares? For a final touch, I added some effects like soft light bloom and some quick reflections under my feet and bullets and crate. Together all this looked pretty cool to me, so I added a camera raw filter to really spice things up. But of course, that was not enough for me. Not enough drama, not enough death and destruction. So then I decided to duplicate myself and turn it into some kind of super soldier cult, like kinda video game-ish. And then I decided to turn it into my own PUBG wallpaper, because why not? That's obviously a great idea. So there you go. That is my incredibly useful creation. If you ever want to turn yourself into, well, this, feel free to do it, because you can, by using Nerf and Photoshop. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and if you enjoy my overall content, feel very free to subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And also don't forget to ring that bell to stay notified about new videos. Then I hope I'll see you in my next video. Alright, I'll just stop talking.